So I just got back moments ago from the presentation at GDC of EA's Battlefield 3, and I wanted to give my impressions while it was still fresh in my head. Man, it was absolutely astonishing. It blew me away. The new Frostbite 2 engine upon which the game is built is absolutely incredible. It's the most realistic looking video game I have ever seen. Now they're saying PC is their lead platform, and it was being played on a PC. I don't know the specs of that PC. I suspect it was a beast of a machine because I have never seen a game look this real. It looked like someone had a video camera on the streets of Fallujah and was running down the street. It was incredible. Animations, so fluid. They say they're using the same system that FIFA has been using for years to blend different animations into one another. And the characters, the first scene you start that they showed, and this was all being played live. You start in a truck and you watching three of your squad mates banter among each other, and the best lip syncing I've ever seen in a video game. Facial animations were fantastic, and they're talking back and forth, and then you get out of the ATV or whatever it is, and get into a huge outdoor environment. I mean, gigantic skyscrapers, tons of NPCs, vehicles, but it is straight out of the nightly news. It is downtown Fallujah looking, and the idea is the game takes place a couple of years in the future in Iran, Iraq, and it looks real. Beautiful lighting, smoke effects, volumetric, all kinds of, all the buzzwords were in full effect. There were a few moments of where the camera slows down, where something big and dramatic happens. So there's going to be these moments of dramatic slow motion where one of your squad mates gets snipered in the head, and then everything goes to hell. And it is one of the most intense firefights, and the audio is really incredible. Of course, we were in a big custom-made theater to see it with, I think, speakers in the floor. So, individual results may vary on that, but it was absolutely stirring. I was struck by the transition between indoor environments and outdoor environments. They were very detailed, just incredible level of detail in all the graphics. And you go into these indoor environments, and it looks like any modern shooter indoor, very realistic looking, and you go out into huge, there's an entire city street at one point that you walk out of a very detailed interior into an entire city street. And I'm not talking like, a city street as a backdrop for a level. The entire street is modeled. And there's a huge firefight on a bridge with a helicopter that comes in and starts mowing people down and blowing up cars. Incredibly intense and so realistic. In fact, at this point, you might even say it's too realistic. It was so jarring, and I felt like the squad mates and how realistically they were animated. I felt like I was watching real people in this sort of embedded reality that we see on the news. And it is almost too real at a certain point. So they're walking a fine line there. The most incredible piece of tech that I saw, I think, with this Frostbite 2 engine was the destructible environments. And the level of destructibility, they said, from the small to the big. And there's a sequence when you go out on the rooftop and you're chasing the sniper that downed one of your mates, and he's in a building across the way, and you come out to the top of this rooftop, and he's shooting pots of potted plants off the ledge and shooting holes in the individual granite ledges, and things are breaking in realistic ways. Debris is flying into the air. You have to crawl on your hands and knees to get into a position where you can figure out where he is in the building across the way. One of your squad mates rolls you a grenade launcher. He goes 3, 2, 1, covering fire. They stand up. They start shooting into that building across the way. Things go into slow motion again. You launch a missile, and it takes out not not the entire building, excuse me, not a pre-selected portion of the building, but a realistic chunk out of the side of this building, and the most incredibly realistic destruction I've ever seen. And it was on display throughout the entire demo. There were lots of sections where the guy would shoot at a piece of a building that somebody was hiding behind and carve it out before shooting the enemy. Absolutely incredible. So Battlefield 3, lead platform PC. This is a kind of one of those games that we haven't seen in a long time. One of those upgrade your PC games like I grew up on, where it's like, oh my god, I'm going to need to save up and get some new hardware. I'm going to be very interested to see what a 360 or PS3 version of this game looks like, because I don't think it's going to look anything like what we saw. I don't think that hardware can handle it. And I think they're calling out Modern Warfare. You know exactly what I think Medal of Honor was supposed to be. Battlefield 3 probably will be. It really is that game that fans of the genre are, I think, going to go crazy for. Very excited.